everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Brittany and I'm on a mission to hit 5,000 subscribers. So make sure you click that button below. I would appreciate it. So in today's video, we're actually going to be going over fonts to avoid as well as finding new fonts for our customers. So if you're interested, then keep on watching. All right, so as I've talked about multiple times in a couple videos, I actually do have kind of a selection of fonts that I do recommend for customers. I'll go ahead and pop that up here so you guys see that. Honestly, it's just to try to make it a little bit easier, and I also know that these particular fonts run good with my machine. Now, technically any machine, but I'm just going off of reference of my machine. Now, there are fonts that I do typically like to avoid, and we will be running those fonts a little bit later in this video, as well as running like a full-on sample so you guys can see why I personally do not like them. Now, I did have a customer reach out to me recently. I provided them my options of fonts that, again, I normally always offer. However, they did have a specific look that they were going for. So when it comes to that, to be honest, I will ask for an example. And I'm not joking, if I cannot find it on dafont.com, which is where I get all my fonts from, I legitimately will now send them the link, because I probably spent one day 30 to a good almost hour searching for a font for a customer. And my husband was like, you can't be doing this. Like, this is absolutely crazy. And eventually, I couldn't agree with him more on that one. So basically at this point, if I'm not able to find a font that you are looking for within the first 10 minutes, I will automatically send you the link and say, look for the font, send it to me, and then we'll run it to make sure that it is good. So in this particular situation, that's exactly what I ran across. So I'm gonna go ahead, we're gonna find the font, we're gonna download the font, and then we're gonna run the font, because like I said, we always wanna run a sample just to make sure we have no hiccups on it. Now, typically I can see it on the Chroma software before I even run it on my machine. And again, I will show you where I see that, just so again, you're not wasting material, threads, and all that. However, I do still want to run a sample in this video just so you guys could see why I don't like certain fonts. So let's go ahead, jump over to the computer, and let's get going. So this is dafont.com, where you can actually download a bunch of different styles of fonts. I do highly recommend it. It is completely free, and all you have to do is just download it. So I do want to make mention, like I said before, if I cannot find it within 10 minutes, I send this link to the customer and then they can find it themselves. So she did go ahead and actually send me this. So all that I'm going to do is, technically the name here is the name up here, and all you have to do is just search for it, which I actually already did download it, but I'm just gonna show you guys as well how to do it. So you're just gonna type in the name up here, you're gonna hit search, and it should be the first one. Now, don't get me wrong, I actually have had it to where the customer sent me the name, I've searched for it, I couldn't find it. Weirdly enough, I don't know why, because we were doing it literally at the same exact time, so I have seen that happen. So if it does, do not freak out. I don't know why, just tell them to pick another font. Like, I don't know what else to recommend on that one. I do always make sure that the spelling is correctly. So anyways, you're gonna go ahead, you're gonna hit download right here. This little box is gonna pop up. So just go ahead and click on it. And then from here, all that you're gonna wanna do is, there are two options. To be honest, I've already looked at both of them and I did not see a difference. Now, sometimes, so be careful, sometimes either you'll see it where one is maybe a thinner font, one might be a thicker font, one might be, so I'm trying to think of another way I've seen it. Somewhere it's just different style. So again, just check them both out. So this is basically the exact same, and all you're gonna do is just hit install right here. And once you hit install, it's gonna, well, this is telling me I already have it. So it's basically gonna pop up a box just saying yes. And then at that point, you would go ahead and install that new font. So it's as simple as that. Now from here, you are gonna go ahead and go over to your Chroma software. And then you just need to make sure you're hitting this double T. This actually allows you to access all the fonts that are actually on your desktop, versus if you uncheck it, this box is gonna go gray, and then you're only gonna be able to select fonts provided by the program. So go ahead, hit the TT, and then again, we went ahead, we can search it, and we found the font. So from here, what I personally do, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, is again, I do run a sample. I actually will go ahead and type out the name as well as what they're wanting. And so the reason for this is specifically so they can actually see what that font is going to look like on their t-shirt. Now, I believe with her, I am doing name on left and title on right, but I at least want her to see the whole thing to see exactly how it's going to be written out. And then from here, I'm actually just gonna take a picture on my phone, send it on over to the customer, say, hey, this is what that font looks like. I wanna make sure you like it. Because again, we are putting this on t-shirts and you wanna make sure it is legible. So let's go ahead, send that picture on over, make sure she approves everything, and then let's go ahead, like I mentioned, and run that sample. So surprisingly, she actually responded fairly quickly. So I've already gone ahead, I put it on the USB. I'm actually putting it over to the machine right now. And all that I do is I just grab my excess fabric. This is one that honestly I bought this from somebody on Facebook Marketplace. They used to sell masks. And so they have like a bunch of square pieces. So I just use them as my samples, which have honestly kind of been working out. So all that I'm gonna do here, oh, that's right. I need to also make sure with her thread color that she wanted like a gold. And I actually had 2 different golds that I sent her. So all right. I just want to confirm the gold that she ended up selecting. Definitely the one on the right. So, okay. So, oh, Rex. So she actually wants this one right here, which is number, oh boy, 6353, just in case you guys want to know. So there it is right there. And we're gonna go ahead and swap it out real quick. My head is being chopped off. Let me swap that out real quick because I definitely want to make sure that when I show her an example, she sees the color thread I am using for that. Somebody, I don't know what just happened outside. Somebody must have like popped a firecracker or something like that. And Mr. Rex right now is absolutely freaking out, and he looks like a statue and he will not leave my side. So he keeps bumping into the camera. And I keep telling him, it's fine. Nothing happened. But he doesn't believe me. All right, that is done. I'm just gonna go ahead and trace the image out. Now I am keeping the design on the lower part of my machine or on my hoop. And I'm doing that specifically because I want to take the same exact name and show you guys in a font that I personally would avoid. So I kind of want to show you them side by side. So again, I picked the thread color, corrected that, dropped it. Actually, I can bring up my speed. From the last project, I dropped it down quite a bit. And let's go. Oh, you know what would be helpful? If my dumb butt selected the correct thread color after just doing all that hard work. Swear to you. So remember in my video that I showed you guys on what I keep on my machine and why? This is a great example of that. So as you guys can see, if I pick this up with my hand, it's hard to grab it, okay? Because I have some chunky fingers. So I'm having a hard time grabbing this little piece to then go ahead and snip it. Yeah, I could eventually grab it, right? But why struggle? Take these little tweezers, grab that thread, okay, and pull. But technically you're supposed to snip it, right? And there it is. And that is exactly why I highly recommend these little guys right here. All right, so guys, as you guys just seen a really close up of it, this is the name right there. Now don't get me wrong, this blue is not doing justice with the thread color that we did select. However, this is the one that she did go ahead and select. So what I've done since this was embroidering, just to kind of speed up time, I did go ahead and find a font where I said I personally don't like the way it comes out. And again, we are actually using the same exact name. And I have a little thought on that. So we're gonna go ahead and wait till the very end of this. All right, so as I mentioned, I went ahead and I ran another font where I personally would avoid it. It's called Pink Matte. I'll go ahead and throw the name up here just in case I am saying that wrong. Again, this is a font that I found on dafont.com. And here's what you're gonna notice. You're gonna be like, Brittany, what's wrong with it? It looks fine. But it doesn't look fine. And I'm gonna show you why. So if you guys can see, here's the original and here's the new one. Can you spot what I would not approve? All right, so it's actually gonna be the H right there. As you guys can tell, look how fat that looks. Like, it just makes everything look just distorted. I personally love this font, I'm not gonna lie, but there are certain letters within that font. Like, can you see that right there? How like chunky it makes it look? So there are certain like letters within fonts that you are definitely gonna wanna avoid. So like, I would use that if there was no H in the name. But I went ahead just for giggles and I said, well, what other letter with that same exact font would I actually avoid? So I went ahead and I did it right here. It's kind of hard to see. Hold on, I'm gonna take it out of the hoop to see if that helps a little bit. But of course you guys seen the H. So the H just has like a lot of extra thread right here where I personally do not like it, because it's just, yeah, I mean, it can easily tear. This is the way the large K came out, which as you can tell, like, where's the top? And then if you look at the L, hopefully you guys can see it. I don't know if I picked the wrong color to sample this on, which I feel like I did. You guys could actually see where it almost splits the L into like two. It's going like two different ways. So this is basically going this way, and this side is going straight up and down. So hopefully, trying to bring the ring light in, so hopefully you guys could see that, because I cannot see it on the little view screen, but yeah. So that is basically what I'm trying to explain on certain fonts that I personally would avoid. There are fonts as well where a letter will just go completely missing. So of course at that point you can't even use it, because it's like, where'd the A go? The A just whoop, gone. So yeah, so definitely, you know, when it comes to using that particular website when sending it to people, make sure you are running samples just to make sure everything comes out clean, it looks good, there is no hiccups. And I'm just straight out honest with people. I'm like, hey, I ran the sample, it looks like crap, here's a picture of it. And then if they say, no, it looks great, then at that point it's kind of off of you and it's on to them. But again, you're the experienced one there, so you're definitely gonna wanna give them your input and your feedback. Hopefully you guys were able to see this. I was thinking that the black would be a lot easier to see, and clearly I was really wrong on that. So maybe I'll run it again and just throw up a little clip again at the end here. So yeah, hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you could, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next crafting project. Bye everyone. Okay, that you can see way better. So as you guys can see, the H, which is lowercase, is chunky. The K is still missing. And then the L right here, it is actually going into totally separate directions. So